Greetings from the farm. Hope you're well. I'm standing here at Riverside 1, and behind me is where we had our last 2 onion nurseries for 2022. They is gone. There ain't nothing back there. Look, they is gone. Okay, there's just like a couple of lines left there, but we'll talk about that later. Today's video is all about our last set of onion that we're planting for the 2022 season. We planted some hybrid seeds here, and the story that we're going to share with you today is how we started it, how we looked after it, and I'm going to take you to where it's gone, up on Dubai. Stay with us. So the experts say that you are supposed to have onions in nursery for around about 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is 2 months, and that is exactly what we've done. We planted this crop 2 months ago, and we were able to transplant it exactly in time. Either we're very good at what we're doing, or we planted hybrid seeds, which kind of gives you a head start. So these are the beds where we had planted the onion that we're talking about in this video. And if you're a regular viewer, you know the drill by now. You know how we do our business. We've got 1 meter beds, and we have 4 drip lines. Our drip tape is a 40 centimeter tape, and we found that it's basically adequate for being able to water the onions. So in the past, we used to use set up whenever we're doing an onion nursery. We'd set up like my sprinklers, what we call the butterfly sprinklers. And then we found, accidentally on purpose, that the drip tapes actually work just as fine, and everything works out just as well. And the drips are a lot less hassle than the sprinklers are, or the stand pipes and all that stuff. It's just quite a lot of work. And as I said, accidentally on purpose, we discovered that these things actually work, and they can give us quite a good onion beds, even as they are. You know, I always love being down here, listening. The sun is about to set, and it's nice and quiet and peaceful. You can hear some birds, you can hear the crickets, and hopefully not hearing any puff adders, because we got some serious puff adders around here. But that's another story for another day. Anyway, while I reminisce about how lovely it is down here in the Jongwe Valley, the river behind me, by the way, let's take a look at where it all started from. And every crop starts with land prep. You've got to prepare the beds, right? This is after we've taken out the soya beans that was down here during the summer season, and this was the first crop that we've planted down here. So you come in and you make the beds.
So we're here at Riverside 1, Block A, where we continue with the journey of planting, and now we're doing land preparations for our onion crops that will come in here in a few weeks' time. So we started the land preparations with plowing. After plowing, then we came in, added water here so that it's easier to pulverize these clothes. You can see how easily they break with my hand squeezing them. And now, after doing that, we start making cartridges. So these cartridges are spaced at 1 meter apart in terms of width, and the pathway here is about 85 centimeters.
Riverside 1, Block B. Mabed series omenya tambo cha manje ambofaka compost. choseko plastic. Tuweze ma plastic mkaona sa nikwacho samwe my bed.
And then, of course, there's planting. The next stage, we bring our planter. Now, this is a 4-row planter from Saro Agro, and then we put in the seeds in there, and it gives us a very good seed distribution along our nurseries here. There's been a lot of debate as to your proper spacing for onion, and also we had a bit of a learning curve because when we planted up at Westgate 2, it was a bit of a disaster because we were advised to use the wrong wheel in the thing, and some of you may have seen that video. But by the time we got down here in June, we were now making up our own thing, and Tyson, our farm manager, was able to do some research and figure out, okay, this is the right wheel to use, and we got quite a good onion seed spacing.
So we are here at Riverside 1 where we started with our hybrid planting. This is the last batch in terms of our planting. John, what's that? Lewan tambo, konkan tambo. Speed same, eh? So we are here at Riverside 1 where we are planting our onions here, the hybrid. The variety is Irati, and now we're using the 4-row planter to plant the onions. So we started from there. This is the 5th bed. So we're done with planting all the beds, and now we have some seedless in our hoppers, as you can see. Each hopper. Then we going to put more lines, especially a Jeffest video test at the manga. Every seed is $1. So, the number 1, 2. Mupira mu line chimunga ti wazamu this is the remaining seed that we got from the hoppers. And we are just planting it manually using hands. Oh, you bad guy.
And after the sowing, you got to let the plants grow, right? That's really all it is. So this crop hasn't been much of a hassle. It's basically been quite easy. I think it's also because our team has become quite experienced in what we're doing in terms of growing onion. The only real challenge we had down here was literally that sometimes, because of all the other works that we were doing, we've got onion all over the farm. I mean, there's onion up at Westgate, there's onion at Dubai, there's onion next door at Riverside 2 and 3. A lot of stuff going on, and sometimes once in a while we'd actually forget that these babies were actually here. With an onion nursery, there's nothing really much that happens, but it's taken us 8 weeks and we were able to look after it. You do the watering with the drip tapes, you set up a schedule to say how often are we going to be watering it. You spray it with the fungicides, you protect it with insecticides. There's also a lot of manual weeding. Some people ask me why not use the herbicides, selective herbicides when it comes to nurseries. Personally, I prefer to use manual weeding when it comes to baby nurseries. It's just my thing. I've been doing nurseries for a long time, and that's how it is. But selective herbicides, I'm sure, are probably just as effective.
So we're here at Riverside 1, where we have our nursery beds for our onions, the Africa Red, and we have our sowing date there. So this is a hybrid onion, as you can see on the crop poster. And this is how our Africa Red nursery looks like after 3 weeks from transplanting. So what we have our ladies who are doing some light weeding in here, and we're going to apply a basil fertilizer, base mixie in here. So we've got some that have grown, they've pushed. Here is the light weeding. Dog banje. Bueno. Jauh kamu kempondo. Yo. So these beds were highly infested with soybeans. Previously we had soybeans in here, and as you can see here, it is being removed. It's now what was once a good love story between us and the soybeans. Now he's a weed in our onions. So the basil will help in reducing or curing the yellow color in our onions. These are the Iratis from Starke Ayres. You see this one growing very, very fast. So here are the grains of fertilizer. See here. So this will dissolve as we do the irrigation and give the soils. They nutrify the soils and they give the plant the nutrients that it needs to grow with vigor.
Taking a quick look at our final nursery beds. Here's the Syngenta Africa Red F1 hybrid that was sown on June the 24th. Today is August the 13th, so we're about 7 weeks in and are looking nice and strong. Yes, a little bit of weeding needing to be done. Ooh, weeding never stops, including the infamous Bondwe. This one I can pull out quite easily. Mr. Bondwe, bye Mr. Bondwe. Okay, there's some more. It's almost impossible to look at your seedling nurseries without being able to having to pull out one or two of these bondways and these other broadleaf weeds. But we use herbicides, and we should be coming back in here very soon with a herbicide. We did weed before we applied the granular the other day, because you should always weed before you apply the granular, or else you're just feeding the weeds. It's a thing we love to share, but we don't want to be sharing in this way. You know those farming channels where they show you their gardens, their beds, and there's not a weed inside? That doesn't happen on Mondo Farms channel. There are weeds all over. How am I? These weeds are ruthless. Anyway, that's how it is. We shall be coming in to weed them in a couple of days. I wonder if I'll actually ever include this video on any of the final videos. We shall see. Having another look at the other crop that we have here, which is Irati, an F1 hybrid from Starke, and this one has been put on these 10 beds here, and was a couple of days before that, June the 22nd. So it's also getting nice and ready for transplant. So everything's gone now, as I said at the beginning of the video. Just about everything. We had 10 beds of Irati here and 5 beds of Africa Red. And if I get closer to the Africa Red, we can take a look at how it looks at the stage of transplant. We've got some very, very, very good onion seedlings down here actually. We had a slight miscalculation in terms of the spacing that we needed up at Dubai 3D, but now we're making an extra bed, and this particular group will be moved as of tomorrow, as we say in Zambian language. So continuing a very closer look at a very, very, very well done onion nursery. There's this story about pencil thickness. What is pencil thickness? It's a term that they use in agronomy when they say how big should your onion seedlings be by the time you move them. And if you use my finger here, as a guide, this is quite a healthy onion seedling as it is, and it's ready to move from here to its establishment bed. Quick word on how and why we transplant them. It's because the way they are planted here, they can't grow like this. There's literally not enough space in between each one next to each other, and the bulbs would be so bumping all over the place. So we take them and then we put a proper spacing where they're going to be, and that will allow them to grow as adults there. And that's basically the story here at the nursery. It's done. We are done with here. We are going to be clearing out this place. Down there is the other place, Riverside 1 DEF, where I was sharing with you the other day how we actually made the cucumbers. And one of the things we've learned on our farm in the last couple of years or so especially is to slow down. Don't rush, take your time to plant. So we haven't sown the cucumbers yet. Why not? Because we wanted to clear this side first. We've got issues of manpower and issues of attention. And as everybody knows, if you try to do like 5 different things at any one time, it doesn't work. So we're taking our time, saying, okay, let's finish up these onions, get them all out of here and established up at Dubai 3, and then we'll be able to start getting work on sowing the cucumbers. We also have to do some little bit of drenching work there. We've got to I'll tell you that. Actually, no, I won't even tell you today. I'll tell you that in the next cucumber update. Remember, we do a video round about every 7 to 10 days. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to be kept abreast by YouTube of whenever a new video comes, as we continue sharing our story about life and activities here at Winterthorn Farm on the outskirts of Chongwe. So let's go across to Dubai 3 and I'll show you the establishment beds where we've actually taken this particular crop. And this is Dubai. So we've got Dubai 1A. Now this was the site of that onion crop that we just harvested the other day. And that's Dubai 2, the rest of Dubai 1, of course. Then you have the road that's separated, and you have Dubai 2. Here's a crop of red Creole that's doing very well. But where we are going is we're actually going down to the river again. Dubai 3 is actually very near to Riverside 1, and it's all about how we number them. It's all about where you come from in terms of establishing the crops, the blocks, should I say. Ooh, looking very nice, isn't it? Looking lovely. Looking lovely. Absolutely fantastic. This is one of the more recent ones, which is some Texas guano that's up here on this one. And this was a bit of a long story in itself. It came out of an overflow. Oh, the lessons we learn in onion farming. So now walking down here, down to Dubai 3, which is behind here, and down by the river again. I'm walking as fast as I can because, actually, why am I walking so fast? Oh, because of the sun. It's always such an amazing sight when you enter Dubai 3, because you are greeted with a sea of green. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna have to tell you the story of how we made Dubai one of these days, actually. It was quite a lot of work. That took a couple of months, and hey presto, here we are. So down here at Dubai 3, we've got 4 blocks. That's 3A, B, C, and D. But some of the blocks contain 2 blocks, but we don't really talk about that, all right? We still call them blocks in the blocks, despite the blocks have got blocks in them. Let's move on. And here is where our babies have come. A quick comment there, we've got some red Creoles up there and up there. And here is where our little Iratis have come. And the Africa Reds. So these beds were created some time ago, after the other crops had been planted on blocks A, B, and C, and then we decided, let's create the ones for D so that we can then rest and do some other work, because the work never ends. And so they've been here.
Tripa Dubai 2, A, B, C, D. Satambo contra block D. Yeah, Joseph. So muzi yetu Thomas yapo chamena chita sizambo kwanza kubwesebenza pamena sebenzai. Muzi oti asipakisa ko doti. Asa sitengera doti pafupi maningi Dubai block D. Tipanga onion beds. Siyapha tifaka compost manure. Vagina nzaikontrola ko paja ita sehemu ya benda ko pangono hapa napo wewe. So wasala one bed to series about Dubai 2 block D. Sashe kuma after lunch tuone program ya drenching. Na tenti jagina mwipeteke po since this series sakono yende ujai.
One of the main advantages of doing your beds early is that it then allows, while you're waiting, you water them a bit, and then it allows the weeds that are in the soil, because there's weeds in the seed weeds in the ground. So they allow themselves, what we call, to express themselves. And it means that by the time you come and transplant in a couple of weeks or whatever it is, they're not having to compete with your actual crop that you want in the ground.
Yonsa mouse na yonsa ya para gift. Yonsa ya oni kama mouse chencha choseretu. Joseph, bakon. Chencha chose mouse yonsa. Ngia bovuta mukashanga pesa timwe mouse furo. So ya jela wazo toka bombo shira mayai na choseretu.
So the transplanting onto these beds started with the Irati, which is the white hybrid, on Monday.
Irati F1 hybrid. So hapa tizachosa first 2 beds ai. Tukachosa 2 beds then tipeleke kuja wenango ya mbepo kucha transplanting.
So we are here at Dubai 3D, where we have started transplanting our onions, the Iratis. So we're starting from the far end here, then going to this side, so that we cover this end first, then we'll move over to this part with the last batch of Iratis and finish up with the Africa Reds here. So we are here at Dubai 3. This is Block D, and the transplanting is ongoing. After transplanting, then we did some irrigation here so that we give them enough moisture, because it's hot and the ground is very, very hot, and the evaporation is very high. So most of the manpower was concentrated highly in this area doing the transplanting, so that we push fast and do the job more effectively without having more mistakes. And the plumber is busy setting up, so he's done setting them up. Tomorrow we put the drip tapes here so that the drips start irrigating. So these other markers are the gaps that were missed. Instead of putting a 5 in between, there was more than a 5. Hence, looking at the spaces and now going back. Basi niko nani nifake kwa pape mami sapo mpana. Badef. I'm making sure to do my 5-5, Bajo anjof, basi niko nkinako. Ni sukizinga kwa hapa. Mwe misiwa.
And then yesterday we continued with the rest of the beds as well. One thing you'll notice on these particular videos is that everybody in the video is wearing the Mondo Farms uniform. The work wasn't big enough that we were able to bring in the outside ladies. And also we found that when we use our own teams, we're able to sort of talk to them properly and sort of give them some, let's just say, instructional correction, as one does as a supervisor or a manager from time to time.
So we're here at Riverside 1, Block A, where we are getting our ready to transplant seedlings for onion, the Iratis, and moving them to Dubai 3, Block D. And so far, we've done 7 beds, and we are remaining with these 3 beds to finish up Dubai 3, Block D. So we are going to have about 7 beds left to buy 3D when we finish this with these Iratis. So the positive that's going to be there is we might have enough beds left to cover those seedlings there, the Africa Reds at Dubai 3D. So meaning there's the positive side of, if they fit there, then we are okay. If they don't fit, then we're going to need 2 or 3 extra beds to finish up.
Teacher transplanting onion hybrid Irati. Block D, so ka block ka D, ka block ka mos ka sila. Dubai 3. Yeah, block D. Teacher transplanting onion hybrid Irati. Moja mune magapu yakuti atali mpako kubola hapo.
And we're very pleased. The team has done an amazing job, and we finished up today.
Teacher transplanting Dubai 3 block D. So Irati tunacha side ya 12 beds. Boroguya the other side. Tunacha transplanting 6 bed. So inankala 12 plus 6 Irati asira. So kwenye kwa sara zinasara 6 bed ya. So hapa Africa red ya mbira hapa.
And these last beds here, this last 6 beds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where the reds came, starting from this morning. Let's have a very quick look at how the layout is of this particular, let's say how we transplant the beds. I'm trying to look for a place that's slightly dry so my feet don't get too wet. One of the things that really matters when you're planting bulb onions is the size of your bulbs. It's all about your market. Where are you taking them and how many bulbs can you get out of a certain area? So how do you control the size of your bulbs? It's with the spacing. So sometimes you'll hear people on onion videos talking about 15 by 10 or 10 by 10. And yeah, it's true. We have recently adopted a 5 by 5. We've realized that our market, which is the informal market, Soweto market in Lusaka and other places, it doesn't really want very big bulbs. I've said this before in a previous video that if the majority of the Zambians don't have fridges, then it's not really good giving them a big bulb like this that they'll have to cut half for today's meal and then keep it where there's no fridge. So they tend to buy a lot of onions, little small to medium size, like this sort of size. That's what we do, and we do that we control the size of the bulbs by the size of the onions, because onion will continue to grow until it bumps up next to another onion. So here we are looking at how we actually do it, and we have that tool. You've seen that tool we use in the videos where the guys draw lines with it, and those tools were originally 10 centimeters, but then we brought them down to 5 centimeters. So there's 5 centimeters between here and here and here, and then the other team makes holes that are about 5 centimeters again that way, here, going that way. And that's basically how we do it. So we get what we consider a very, very, very tight bulb spacing, and it gives us those same sort of small to medium-ish bulbs that we're actually looking for. I'm not ashamed to say that I haven't made any money from farming yet. I've put a lot of time and effort into it, and I'm doing it for the long haul. Farming is a long game. It's not something we're going to make serious money from out of. Anybody who tells you they made a lot of money from farming in the first year or two while they were still learning from scratch, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I'm happy for them. We've taken the long approach like we have with many of our other businesses, and we've learned a lot of lessons. Tried this, tried that. Oh, let's do this. Oh, let's use this chemical. Let's try this seed. Oh, we forgot to do this. Oh my goodness. It's been a mission. It's been a mission. But I'll tell you, when I look behind me here and I see this sea of green, I'm very proud. It's given me that sense that I'm on the right track. that this farm may not be profitable or even returnable at present, but it's going to get there. It's going to get there. And if we keep pushing, doing what we're doing, and learning our lessons and getting better at what we do, then we're going to finally get there. This is our last crop. Literally the last crop of onion that we are planting for 2022, and the story will start again in 2023 when we start doing the crop again. So what are the issues? The issues are that you have to get your crop out of the ground, hopefully before rainy season. I'm on several WhatsApp groups, and today we had a member advertising some onion seedlings, and they were advertising them for sale. And then one of the other, what we would call the senior members of the group, highlighted that this is an OPV, open pollinated variety, the one that was being sold. And if the people who were going to buy the seedlings from the other member were going to have to know that these were going to be found by the rain. If they transplant an OPV in August, then you know that by the time the rains come in November, it's just about, you can just about get away with it, but it's highly unlikely. What's the thing? OPVs, like the ones we plant a lot here in Zambia, which is your red creoles, your Texas granos, your capricios, they generally take 6 months. Yep. But your hybrids, like what we have here, this Irati from Starke and the Africa Red from Syngenta, they are talking 4 months. So they've already had 2 months in the ground from June 20 something when we planted them, and now 2 months later we've come out. So we're expecting to see some phenomenal growth in these particular beds here and behind me there. Over the next couple of months, and they will actually catch up with the OPVs that were planted some time ago. Hopefully, we've got our calendar right. This is what I meant about learning. Nobody's going to come and teach you how to do farming right away. You literally have to go out there and actually get on with it. All right. So this is some of the experiments that we have to take. We've looked at the science. We've looked at how long things are supposed to take. We've looked at what we're supposed to do with the crop, and we've taken a risk and says, okay, we can still plant now. We can hopefully get this crop out of the ground. 2 months from now is October. The rains around this part of Africa come around about November-ish. Climate change, I don't know, but around that time, and we should be able to get this crop out of the ground. Quick comment about that. The rest of the crops, the OPVs, the Texas granos, and the thingies, and the red creoles that we have planted will also be coming out of the ground around that time. Advantage of hybrid seeds is that they store. So we're going to be able to store these and keep them for the off season. And here in Zambia, we've had a lot of political issues and things happening about supply of onions during the off season. So if everybody's onions come out of the ground by October into November, then you even get some poor pricing around that time because there's a lot of supply. But the onions that most people plant are the OPVs, open pollinateds, so they don't stay. Now, the hybrids are the ones that will stay. You can keep a hybrid seed for anything from 3 to 4, 5, 6 months, depending on your type of storage, which, as I mentioned in the other video, the best storage is a cold room. So we'll be looking to store what we have from here and being able to put it onto the market during the off times when there's no new onion coming on the thing. We're talking December, we're talking January, and just about into February, hopefully. And this is a good lesson for us on how we're going to be targeting our program for 2023. It's getting late now and the sun is really going. I hope you can still see me and see behind me where we were showing you in this video the very last of the 2022 onion crop. We've got some Irati, the whites over there, up to those beds into here, and then we've got some red, Africa Red, the red onions in these beds, and one other funny bed over that side. I'm loving growing onion. It's something that we've been doing for a couple of years now, and we're getting quite good at it. One of our business strategies is to pick certain crops and to become very good at what we do. a lot of farmers starting out from Kuma towns, the towns and cities, they'll hear that, oh, there's money in this. They'll hear that, oh, did you know that so-and-so made a lot of money in this? And the farm has no identity. It doesn't even know what's going on. And what we found by choosing onion here is that our guys and girls, they know how to do it. They recognize certain things. They know at certain times what you're supposed to do. When you're transplanting, when you're watering, we know, oh, the weather's like this. We're becoming like some sort of onion people, and we're learning how to grow onion. Onion itself is a basic part of the human diet. People cook with it all the time. Every single day they're cooking onion. So it's not like it's something that they can go and change and whatever it is. There is no option but onion. And it's a crop that strategically you can also sell for export outside of Zambia. So highly recommended for us. And we still have a massive shortfall of onion in Zambia, especially my hybrids. We still need to grow more of the hybrids that we can then grow, as I was saying, during the off season, that's December, and supply into December and into January. All right, I'm going to say my goodbyes now. Thank you very much for joining us again here for another episode in the 2022 Mondo Farms onion story. It's been exciting and it continues to be exciting. We've now reached the end of the planting and we're now getting into harvesting, as you've already seen, and reaching, just moving on and getting towards the business end, as we say, the business end. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hopefully get some business at the end of all of this. Yeah, it's been quite a lesson in this. Mondo Farms, we do our videos on this channel every 7 to 10 days. So if you subscribe to the channel and ding, press the button, it will remind you when it will update you when a video has come. We also ask if you have experiences of yourself and some general comments that we can hear about our onions, that you put them in the comments below. If you like the video, please press the thumbs up button. That always helps YouTube to know which videos are popular and to suggest it to more people. And if you're part of a WhatsApp group, like I was talking about being a part of a WhatsApp group, Facebook groups where onion stories are shared, Zambian farming stories are shared, please share this video. My name is Shisha Folotia. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll be heading home soon. You take care. Shale nipo. Bye-bye.